In this video, we're going to continue to look at the processes our minds go through to fill out or enrich what someone has said. Specifically, we're going to look at how we might clarify vagueness in an utterance. Note here that we'll be using vagueness in a technical way rather than a vague way. Recall what we've already said about communication. Typically, we do not say everything we mean, rather we under-encode. And that leaves it to hearers to have to enrich what we have said in order to clarify it. Enrichment clarifies 4 different types of things: ambiguity, vagueness, ellipsis, and reference. In the previous video we looked at ambiguity, where a word or structure has 2 or more meanings. In this video we're going to focus instead on vagueness, where a word has a range of meaning. The issue of vagueness is a problem when a word has a range of meaning and we need to infer a more specific meaning in the context that's given. A really good example is the word now. That's a word which has a range of meaning, rather than a variety of senses. So let's take the utterance, "Give it to me now." What does now mean here? Surely it must mean immediately, at this moment. If someone says, "Give it to me now," and the hearer thought, actually it's okay to give the object tomorrow or later in the week, they haven't enriched the sentence the way the speaker intended. On the other hand, in an utterance like, "Everyone uses smartphones now," what does now mean here? Surely it doesn't mean immediately at this moment. Rather, it means something like nowadays, at the present time. We could even imagine a sentence like, "There are no dinosaurs alive now." In this case, now suggests the current geological era, not just the current decade. Another word that has a range of meaning is hear, which can be a difficult word for the hearer to enrich correctly, and leads to several miscommunication examples. For example, you may have been in a situation at a social function where someone comes up to you and asks, "How long have you been here?" And you can feel your mind processing to try to decide what they want to know when they use that word here. I found myself answering with sentences like, "Well, I've been here in Gloucester for 2 years, but here at this party for 2 hours, and I'll be leaving very soon." This kind of dialogue is very common when we are trying to enrich vague expressions, and we try to clarify meaning with the speaker. If you've been keeping up this far, you may be asking, well, just a minute, what is actually the difference between vagueness and ambiguity? And that would be a really good question. We have described the difference by saying that vagueness is where a word has a range of meaning, whereas ambiguity is where a word or structure has 2 or more meanings. Remember in the last video that we said the difference between bat, meaning flying rodent, and bat, meaning a wooden instrument for hitting balls, was an example of ambiguity. The flying rodent and wooden instrument senses are very different meanings. On the other hand, when we talked about the word now, it doesn't really work to talk about it having distinct senses that are perhaps at this very minute, or sometime today, or in this decade, or during the current epoch. Rather, we say that now has a vague, general range of meaning, and we infer the specific time reference in the context. The examples of bat and now seem to make a very clear distinction between a prototypically ambiguous word, bat, and a prototypically vague word, now. However, when you try to analyse other words, you'll find it's a lot more complicated. For example, if we talked about cricket bats and baseball bats, is this an example of vagueness or of ambiguity? This kind of discussion is beyond the scope of this video, but it's very important for lexicographers when working out how they're going to structure a dictionary. As a result, they've developed a variety of tests to help answer the question. You can read more about those kind of tests if you look at most textbooks on lexical semantics.